Hi, welcome to the show today. This is Juliet. Searched for an immigration consultant online. Do you have family or friends who in any country that you want to bring over to stay with you in either through student visa, work permit, or permanent residency? Today I bring good news. I have Sophia. She is the CEO of Charis Immigration. The things we need to know about immigration. Sophia,
I'm good. How are
you? Your profile, coming from tech, and you are in immigration.
Yes.
Can you give me an insight on what led you to immigration?
Sure. So I think it was over maybe 10 years ago. I moved from UK to Canada by myself, and so I did the application myself. I found the process quite seamless, no issues. And then when I got here to school, I started helping people. They would ask me questions, finding it hard to understand what the laws are, the immigration requirements, and I kind of breezed through it, and I found it quite interesting. So after helping a lot of people over time in school, I graduated from school, and then I got a job in a school advising international students. There as well, I found myself in the immigration international student space, and that's really where it inspired me to say, okay, I can make this something of my own. I like to do it. I find it easy. I enjoy it. And so from then on, that's like a light bulb that came to me. I got my diploma in immigration policy in Canada, and I did my certification, and the rest is history, really.
So right now, do you do only Canada, or you help with any country at all, your country?
Yes, right now I specify majorly in Canada.
Okay.
Yes, and that's because each country is different. I really wanted to own Canada and really understand the requirements. So right now it's just Canada that we focus on.
Oh, okay. Now, when it comes to Canada, there are different immigration routes, right?
Yeah.
There is the students, route, permanent residency, work. So, do you specialize in any one in particular, or you cover the whole space?
Good question. There's actually over 67 different pathways to Canada.
Oh,
not
nice.
just the numbers we said. It's a lot of them, and I specialize in a few. Right, visitors coming, students coming in as well. Permanent residence, which has different pathways on its own, right? So there's the express entry, there is through the family sponsorship. So I do a lot of that. The only one I would say I don't specialize in is the refugee part or asylum. I don't specialize in those are out of scope. But anything that has to do with temporary residence, working, studying, or visiting, or permanent residence through your work experience or through family sponsorship, that's where I specialize mostly.
When it comes to immigration, when I was back home, I know there are a lot of scammers who scam people of their money. They are not even qualified or certified.
Correct.
Do you have certification for this?
Yes.
You mentioned you went through diploma.
Yes.
Is that what you have that equipped you with the skills?
Another good question. So there is a certification that is required to be regulated in Canada, right? To be regulated, one of the requirements is that you go to school and get a diploma, right? And that's what I said when I mentioned I have an immigration diploma. But aside that, there's a lot of more other requirements where you do have to pass the English test, right? Yeah, you have to fulfill the other requirements. But aside that, you need to sit for an exam, right, to become an RCIC, which is a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, right? And we are regulated by the board in Canada. It's a college that regulates us. So all those people who unfortunately are being duped by scammers, I think it's good for you to do your due diligence to check to make sure that they are registered, right? You can do this online.
Oh, there is like a platform you go to verify if the consultant is registered. Oh, nice.
Sure.
Good
Each consultant should have a name and their registration or membership number, their license number. So if you put my name there, it will say active, or maybe there's a process going on where you're not active right now, it should also say that. So that's where you could validate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when we come to all those routes, which one do you think is easier or cheaper to come in with, right? Because it requires a lot of fun. Which one do you think is the easiest you advise your clients to come with?
That's a very good question again, because it's not really one size fits all.
Oh, okay.
I get this question a lot. Oh, I want to come to Canada. What's the fastest, the quickest?
What's the fastest?
But it's not a yes or no answer. This is the way to come. It depends on your portfolio, your background, your credentials. It could be maybe studying, maybe because you haven't done your master's yet, you can afford to study. So there's no clear-cut answer to that. It depends on the profile that works for you. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
To reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch with you, to book a session?
So we do have our website, right? www.charisimigration.com. Social media is another way to keep up to date with the different news that we have in Canada. You can email me. That's also quite fast. I would say the fastest way.
Can you state your email address?
Yeah, sure. It's info@charisimigration.com. So Charis is CHARIS.
And that gets to you directly?
Yes, myself, and I also have an admin team that I work with, but I do see all the emails that come through. It's actually faster than calling because we do get a lot of calls that come in and we are often busy, but an email you would get a response between 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, so booking immigration consultant is quite expensive. How much is the cost for your consultation?
Sure. So when you email and say you're serious about it, you want to come to Canada, you want to talk to a consultant, we can give you an overview of what the requirements are, which depending on your case might be a quick 15 minutes. But if you need a detailed kind of consultation, that is $200, right? That would give you a one-on-one session with myself, where we could go through different questions. We could do an assessment. We have an assessment form that you would go through. I would also review your credentials as well, answer all your questions. And even after you pay for that, if you do have more questions, you're open to open channel to talk to me about it, right? And then at least I tell my clients that even if you do not go ahead with retaining our services, consultation is very good because you have the information, you know how to use it. So we are very active in posting on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
So if they send a message via social media as well, they can get in touch with you to book a session?
That's correct. So if you do need general advising, we can provide maybe 15 minutes of that free of charge. But if you need more detailed pathway, which is really what you would want, you will need to book a consultation with myself, where we go through the assessment. You have some questionnaire that you fill, and then I assess your background, your credentials as well, and provide you a solid pathway to Canada, right?
Well, you kind of verify the information and then suggest or advise the clients on the best routes to take.
Exactly, because we do have over 67 pathways in Canada. It's a lot. People don't know that. So
really?
Yeah.
6, 7.
6, 7, even more now, I would say. Yeah. So it takes time. Like during consultation, I tell them, okay, before we book, we need at least 24 hours to review your documents, to review your credentials, your education, and weigh that against all these pathways. Right, so we can provide value to you.
And talking about your clients right now, where do you get, majority of your clients? Is it which part of the continent do you get majority of your clients?
Yes. So Nigeria is most of my clients. They come from Nigeria. Or I shouldn't say Nigeria, I should say Nigerians all over the world. UK, some within Canada, some in the US. But I am Nigerian, Nigerian Canadian, so a lot of my prospects or clients that we have come from there.
Working with different people from different countries, which country do you go to the other country? I
get that question a lot, especially for some Nigerians who are maybe they live in the UK and some in Nigeria. They feel like, oh, I'm in the UK, it should be easier to come, but it's not so easy like that, right? And I would say that unfortunately, Nigeria, maybe because of the history we have applying to Canada, it can be even more challenging than coming from the UK, right? Depending on the application. So if I have maybe someone who lives in Nigeria but hasn't traveled before and wants to visit Canada, there's some requirements that we have to look through as compared to a Nigerian who is in the UK that wants to visit Canada, right? They might have different sets of requirements that they have to fulfill. But I won't say because you're in Nigeria or because you're in the UK, it's just easier. Either way. Okay,
talking about requirements right now, I had a friend mention that if you write IELTS, which is the English part, and then the French one, I've forgotten what it's called, that it makes it easier, it gives you more edge to come over. Do you think that's true? Or is it a myth?
I would say it's a myth. I would say it's true in a way, right? There are various pathways that maybe your friend is referring to. So Canada right now is really trying to attract French-speaking people.
Okay.
Right? So if they fall under maybe express entry, which is one of the systems for getting permanent residence in Canada, you do get additional points because you can speak French, right? So there's that pathway. But there are also provincial level of applying to Canada where they have specific pathways for French-speaking people. So it could be that as well.
Oh, I see.
And I tell, because Nigerians are a lot of my clientele, and English is our first language, so a lot of times, studying French from the scratch is not what they want to do. But some clients are very determined. They take a 6-month program even, and they pass at least good enough to get extra points, and they are called for express entry application, permanent residence.
Any word of advice you have for anyone who is trying to relocate, or maybe looking for an agency to work with, or feel they are not qualified enough?
So the first advice I would say is to do your checks well before retaining any sort of agent. A lot of people getting duped even more and more these days. So like I said, make sure you check online to make sure that they are qualified to the job. I will say also that really use information. Information is out there, but people don't really know how to maximize that information, right? So when you do secure someone that is licensed or someone that is regulated, ask the right questions. Right? Those are the two different aspects. And if maybe you're trying to explore different pathways, you've been in the pool, express entry pool for a while, it might be a question of you not really maximizing your chances, and that's where a consultant would come in. Okay. So those are the different advice I would give.
So Sophia, with your certification, are you qualified to practice, bring people into different provinces in Canada, or is it limited to like a particular province?
So there are some provinces like Saskatchewan, that you do need to have additional license to practice in that province, right? And I do have that license. Other provinces also have that. Ontario, which is the most popular province most people, Nigerians, come to, you don't need to have additional licenses, but some provinces do. So if those provinces have it, you have to make sure that the consultant that you're using has that additional license as well.
Okay. And you have that?
I do have for Saskatchewan, I have for Prince Edward Island as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Which province do you think is the easiest right now?
If you have family, let's say you have immediate family, so your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your child, or your first cousin is in Saskatchewan or Manitoba, that would be one of the easiest routes to come through provincial nomination, because they do give good points if you have family in those provinces.
Oh, that's very insightful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.